Welcome back. You're watching TVC News Hour. Some politicians are castigating Obasanjo for playing to the gallery, but others say the message should be noted irrespective of the messenger. Joining us now in the studio is the presidential aspirant, Ahmed Buhari. Good to have you here.
Hi, good afternoon.
On the News Hour. So yes, what do you make of the former president's letter to the president, even though the presidency has replied and thanking him for what he said, listing the achievements made? What are your thoughts?
Hi, thank you for having me. And normally, I would like to stand on the part that former President Obasanjo has every right to speak what he feels about the situation. More than anything else, it's his opinion, and he's free to share. And it's now left for the sitting president and its government to look at the letter, take the criticisms well, and steer this to the right path. I was having a discussion with someone, and he said to me, what if this letter propels the current administration to start doing well? And I said, that is exactly the best way to respond to the letter, not by fighting back, because there's no point fighting back. The best thing to do is to make sure you respond in a manner that people will say, you did adhere to the criticisms, you did adhere to the complaints, and now you're performing well. And if that is done, I expect that every government or any individual who is being criticized to take things well and perform better.
All right. Now, in the wake of the letter, Babachara Lawal was eventually, taken by the EFCC, and you remember very clearly that his own case has been, on ground, for a while.
Yes.
And when the letter was released, a day or two, he was picked up. Would you say that it was a mere coincidence, or, just as you rightly mentioned, to take the criticism on board and begin to act?
Well, if it was a mere coincidence, that's fine. But more than anything else, if it was done as a result of a response to the letter, I feel it's better. Sometimes when you're inside the playground, you do not see what the people on the outside are seeing. So when people on the outside do say things to you about your performance, you should adhere strictly, and hopefully we get to see something happen differently.
So now, what do you hope to see, following the publication of this letter? What do you think can shape, what do you think this letter will do in terms of shaping a new Nigeria?
Absolutely, I don't know. But if the collective response or the collective feelings or desire of Nigerians is seen to be replicated in that letter, I would like to expect that the government of the day takes strong consideration of all of the things that are put in that letter and starts giving the Nigerian people the kind of democracy that we voted them to deliver. And again, I keep telling people, if you are happy about what former President Obasanjo has put in that letter, and if you agree with the things he has put in that letter, the only thing that we can do right now is to come together, mobilize ourselves, form a united front, and put into office the kind of government that we deserve. And that's the only way we can get out of this. So again, it's a reminder to the people, and I've said this many times here, until we're able to pay for the kind of democracy that we deserve, we will end up being paid for the kind of democracy that we get. So people should rise up, people should wake up and start taking part in the process that delivers us this kind of governments. Only then can we actually demand for the kind of dividends that we deserve.
Okay. All right, now the former president, Obasanjo, talked about quite a number of things in that letter, and as someone who said earlier, these are not new anyway, because it echoed the feelings of many Nigerians.
Yes.
It talked about nepotic, tendencies, herdsmen, killings, and all of that. But the president or the presidency eventually, responded, to some of these challenges. For instance, the herdsmen, killings, and all of that. Are you satisfied with the response, that the president, that we got, from the presidency, and the reactions that we've gotten so far?
Well, I'm glad that there was a response, at least, no matter how weighty it was or not weighty enough. I'm more concerned with what is going to be seen in terms of practicality, not just verbal responses or written responses. Let's see how this letter would sort of propel this government or this administration to begin to do what the people want.
Well, as one who aspires to be president,
yes,
someday, how would you have reacted? Would you have reacted differently from the presidency's response?
I would have thanked him properly. I would have thanked him most sincerely, and I would have asked him if he does have an open door to see me at any time he wants. He should have just come on to tell me what he felt wasn't right in the administration. Taking some of these things publicly sometimes doesn't really help anybody. We have no reason to heat up the polity if it doesn't have to be heated up. So if the former president does have access to this current president, I would have expected that he goes to him and tell him, this should be done. This isn't done right. The people are complaining. I'm in the outside. I can see what's going on, and I need to let you know, because otherwise, if I just sit there in my own corner, I won't be doing you justice. That would have been a more, in my opinion, better approach to the situation.
No, still as a presidential candidate, what do you hope to do differently? Because, you know, the people in Nigeria have always seen some of the same in terms of politicians coming into power. If you come into politics, or as it were, what would you be bringing to the table? So it will be different from the lot we've had so far.
I have said it over and over. One of the reasons why we voted this administration into office were for two reasons. We wanted the administration to come back and restore security, and we wanted the administration to, at the same time, diversify the economy. There was a distraction in the economy, and that was because there was corruption. And these two major things haven't been dealt with as appropriately as possible. So what we've seen happen is, fine, they've been able to handle the security situation to an extent, and then before we saw it resurface again. And now we're beginning to see the corruption situation not being handled properly. Whatever the case is, I expect that at this very crucial time, we should, as a matter of urgency, start thinking of how to revive the economy by, more than anything else, creating jobs. A lot of jobs have been lost in the last 2 years, and that is why a lot of people are discontented with the administration, disdain with the situation in the country, and I expect that the body language from the presidency has to change as well. He has to act and present himself as a president for all, not some. So if people have this insinuation, whether true or not true, you have to counter it by the actions you display. And people are watching. People want to see you embrace them, even though they're not so belly filled up, but they just need to know that you are somebody who stands for them. And that's what I think is missing in this administration, and that's those are part of the things that we have to bring on board. But more than anything else, if I was given an opportunity, I think we should be leveraging on our comparative economic advantages right now. I think we should be letting the people know that even if there's a Fulani herdsman situation we're talking about, there's a reason why the Fulani herdsmen go down south. It's for economic reasons. How do we leverage on that economic activity that's going to be happening there? If it's the leather industry in Kano and the leather industry in Aba, if we want to come down together and see how we can leverage from that, we have to do that. Let the people start knowing that they need each other to progress economically. Other than that, I don't see any reason why we should be having a country.
All right, there are those who submit that if this administration went back to the tripartite issues with which they campaigned, which were economy, corruption, security, that if they went back to pursue these issues with vigor and very clear transparency, that the country will be better for it.
No, they have to start.
And I hope we get at a certain level, and we will get to the finishing point. But let's thank you very much indeed, Ahmed Buhari, for your contributions on the News Hour at this moment.
Thank you.